Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do rapid reviews, baby. I didn't have time to set up the camera, so you're going to get the desktop again. I apologize. You're going to look at knives instead of my face. Oh, God, Kev, why? Why do we have to see the knives? We want to see your ugly mug, not your ugly hands and your ugly thumbnails. Anyway, let us rip through these. First up, we have the Tucson TS223 coming in from Jared Nee. Big thanks to my buddy Jared. Really hooking it up with the loaners lately. This thing, man, you guys know me. I'm super positive guy over here. Positive Pete, they call me, not negative Nancy. And, yeah, I really like this thing. My only gripe on this knife, really, is I wish it had a little bit more drop shut action. I may be able to like tune that if I tried. Jared doesn't care, but I also don't like messing with his knives, so they come back the way they came. So, you know, that would really be the only thing, is I wish it kind of dropped shut, but it's very smooth. We are dead centered. It's carbon fiber. It's titanium. It's probably 14C 28 M390. I mean, sorry, I knew that. The other one's 14C, sorry. I love the bolster lock design. I really do like this clip. It works great. It's very light on the retention, but I like that on a clip. A lot of people like stronger tension on their clip because it won't come out if they go on a roller coaster or gravity ride or something. I don't usually do those things, so I'm pretty good with it just being light, easy to go in and out. I don't like it when a clip is too light, though, and it like kind of like starts leaning in my pocket, and I got to constantly reset it. But this, I didn't have that problem with. Carried it in the back left pocket. I love the flipper tab on here. Some may call it slightly pokey dokey, but I wouldn't say that. So let me do my usual thing as fast as I can. Aesthetically, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I've always wanted one of these Tucsons. This was like the first Tucson I saw. And I think this was like the first knife review I saw on Jared's channel, believe it or not. And I've always wanted one of these. I think they call this the Monarch. I can't be certain. Anyway, it's sexy. I love this drop point design. I just love how it kind of bows out and comes back down. Very sexy with the contrast of titanium and carbon fiber. It's just gorgeous. Like I said, it carries pretty well. M390 blade. It's got a pretty good edge on it. For me, it does everything I need it to do extremely well. No issues there. No complaints on cutting. You have a full flat grind as well. And yeah, this is the 223, right? Yeah. So we talked about cutting. We talked about carry. We talked about aesthetics. Ergos are great. Just fits my hand. It's so neutral. Just fits my hand really well. No jimping up here, so my thumb lands in a good spot. You can kind of do the flipper choil, but, you know, at your own risk. I would do it if I was doing something light, right? I cut some shipping labels out with this, no problem. It does have that drop point a little bit high up, so you do have to come down a little bit, but obviously it's not an issue like a clip point or trailing point. Sounds on this thing. Fantastic. And that'll get us to action, which, like I said, I wish it dropped shut more, but the flipper is dialed perfectly. That detent is absolute money. Tucson's one of those companies I kind of pretty much trust fully in terms of detent. You'll see there the detent's kind of late. That would be one issue I'd have with this knife. It has a detent ball ramp, right? It's very smooth transitioning here, but it doesn't pass the detent until right here. So you can see here's the knife straight. Okay, that's it locked up. Here's where the detent passes. So that's a lot, you know, and as a lefty, that's annoying because you want it to pass early so you can disengage and then kind of go right to a shakedown. But you'll see what happens is I kind of end up doing the old double clutch. But if you just move it past there, it's fine. And with the ramp, one thing I like about a detent ramp, ball ramp, is you can throw it. I can throw it past that detent. Whereas on a knife without a detent ball ramp, when I go to do that, it's going to do this and lock back up no matter what. But with this, I can kind of throw it past that detent and get it going. So Action's really good. Really like this action. Value, this thing probably goes for like, what, $150 maybe. You know, you used to get it on eBay probably for $100 or something. Just ridiculous, their price values. So yeah, I really dig this thing, guys. That is the Tucson 223. And why don't we just follow that up with another Tucson? Bang. This is the Tucson TS240 night morning design. Sorry, this one was a Jelly Jerry. This is a night morning design, guys, and I got to tell you, by far, this might be my favorite Tucson of all time. That is a high statement, right? Especially considering I don't even like trailing points. This is my favorite Tucson I've ever handled. I do really like the Vandal, but it was sort of a novelty, is sort of a novelty being so huge and everything. A lot of people aren't going to be, you know, EDCing that knife, and neither would I really, right? I bought one just to, you know, I kind of just wanted to buy one because I thought it was cool. Hence, novelty. Anyway, Tucson TS240, my favorite Tucson of all time. Look at this. I believe this is Cue Ball's knife, or maybe that was a joke and it's Jared's. I don't know. Can't tell with these guys sometimes, these knuckleheads. My only real negative aesthetically, other than the trailing point, which, ow, did I just cut myself? Did he? I got Band-Aids. Do I need them? Do I need a Band-Aid? Looks like I might need it. Oh, no. Fucking bastard. All right, that's it, Cue Ball. It's my knife now. It's my knife now, Jared. Whoever's knife this is. We don't even know whose knife it is, so I'm keeping it. Know what I mean? Got my tetanus shot? I don't know. It's not really a bleeder or anything, so we're good. Hey, look. My nail looks like shit again. Hey. I should just start wearing Band-Aids like Ray. Anyway, other than the trailing point, let me just shove my finger into it. Other than the trailing point, don't worry, I'll wipe it down for you too. Which aesthetically I think looks good. This knife looks sexy, right? I just don't like trailing points in practice because I cut shipping labels out a lot, and this doesn't work for me. So, like, with a trailing point, I almost want to flip it over and then cut the labels out like this because now I have, like, a warnie. But, you know, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, I think aesthetically it looks sexy. I love the fuller. I just don't like the speed holes. But if you're going to do speed holes, do them like this, nice and small where my finger can't fit all the way through, right? I love the pivot. It looks like a pistol cartridge. How cool is that? Sexy pivot. Love that kind of starbursting milling. Just very intricate milling and details. Look at the clip with the speed holes coming in hot. This clip worked great too. Again, kind of light retention, but no issues for me. Especially in the back left pocket. Cutting. Well, you just saw it cuts really well. It's got a great edge on it. I'm pretty sure Jared tuned this bitch up. This one is in 14C28N. Sorry, night morning. Where are you? Yes, son of a... There it is down there. 14C28N, which I really like. I've heard that the satin is not the best idea for that blade steel because it can scratch easily, but I prefer a satin blade. And again, Tucson satin is very much like... I was talking about this in another video. What was that knife I unboxed? It was, this one's coming up, so I don't want to show that. The Tao. Okay, sorry. Kunwu Tao. You can see similarities. Sort of like discolored with just kind of faint scratches. It's not a badass satin like you would get from, say, Riot, where you get that sexy belt satin, even grind lines, nice and shiny, just absolutely fantastic. So, you know, a lot of people do it this way. Tucson does it that way. Here's QSPs. So, like, you know, I like this better. It's got more even color and everything, but it's a common thing. So, basically, it's fine. It's just not, you know, it's not the best belt satin ever. But yeah, it cuts really well. It's got a great edge on it. It's a saber grind. It's got the trailing point, so not great for this kind of stuff, which is what I use knives for a lot. So that's why I'm not a trailing point guy. Know what I mean? Sounds. Solid sounds. You know, 7, 8 out of 10 on the sounds. Good reverberation. Action, baby. Look at this flipper tab. perfect. This is the flipper tab I like right here. D10 is dialed perfectly. It catches your finger, bang, it flies out. Catches your finger, bang, it flies out. Light switch, I don't know about a push button on this. There you go. Kind of push button it. It's kind of a push lightning switch. Then, of course, you have the fullers. Bang. Just perfectly. What am I, Jared? I'm over here banging everything. That's what she said. Sorry, I'm in a goofy mood. Bang. So anyway, you get multiple deployment methods on this bad boy. Thumb flick, thumb flick. Like, so it's just been a pleasure. I really like this knife. My favorite Tucson of all time, the Tucson TS240 from Night Morning. Oh no, that says Factory Edge on it. What? He wrote Factory Edge. No fucking way. Damn, that is a sick Factory Edge. All right, see? My favorite Tucson of all time. Then we have the Concept Shikari. It's really called the Shikari. This is in 20 CV, actually, which is pretty cool. The D10 is too light for me. They tried to get cute here, is my assumption. My conclusion on this is they tried to get a little bit cute with this front flipper right here, right? They wanted you to be able to, I can't do it, front flip that. So they lightened that D10 a little bit too much, I think. Because if I can, I'm on the lock bar, see? If I'm not on the lock bar, I can, man, this Band-Aid, guys. I swear this D10's light. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I on the lock bar? I don't know if it's just because I'm left-handed. Okay, I take it back. I don't know what happened. I swear, when I carried this, it was feeling light. Let me try the reverse flick. Okay, I take that back. This D10 is actually kind of strong. It feels good. It's a good D10. My apologies. I swear I remember it coming out and then, like, just barely coming out. I must be mixing this up with another knife. I'm sorry. I got a lot of stuff in here right now, guys. And when I carried this, it was about a week ago. I've had this for a while. This is from Backpack B. The other two, the Tucsons, they were from Jared. So shout out to Backpack B for loaning this in. Thanks, my dude. It's a giant knife, and it's really not for me, which is partially why, like, I carried it a few times, and then I kind of just put it back in the case, and I'm just now getting around to the review. So, you know, I don't have a ton of experience with it, obviously. But, yeah, the D10 is, I'd say it's probably perfect, to be honest, if I'm being honest. It catches pretty well. The studs hurt a little bit. Like, they're really digging in. I feel like if you flick this thing all day, it would hurt after a while. The blade is heavy as sin, so it's a guillotine, right? Which is normally good, but it's kind of like the 229 Chavez, where it just drops right on your nail and it wants to mess you up. You know what I mean? It wants to mess you up. I don't know. I like knives where I don't know. I guess I'm a hypocrite because, like, I love the Evo 2.0 and that drops right on your nail. So, I don't know. Ergos are very neutral. One swell and then neutral. Fits pretty well. You can kind of choke up like this. It does have a good edge on it. Very sticky. And that's a factory edge, I'm pretty sure. You got a saber grind here. Again, you got the same type of discolored sort of vertical belt satin. Not my favorite satin, but I'll take it over a stonewash any day. Titanium bolster lock. Titanium backspacer. Pretty hefty guy, but honestly, for the size of the knife, not really. Anyway, sorry. Aesthetically, cool looking knife. I think if this was a 3.5-inch knife, 3 1/4, I'd be way more into it. But they just made this huge chunker of a knife. So, you know, it is what it is. But it looks cool for sure. Like I said, ergos are good. Cutting's good. Carry, it's a big one, guys. And this clip, I don't know. It's just weird to me, this clip. It's just really low. So when you're going to put it in your pocket, for me, it got caught on my 511s and my Vertex pants. I just tried it, and I'm wearing, like, regular jeans today, and it went in pretty seamlessly. You can see the height there you have for your jeans. So if your jeans are thicker, they might not get under this guy, right? And that's what was happening to me, and I had to kind of lift the clip and shove it under. But honestly, if you're wearing regular jeans, you're fine. So it does work that way. Sounds. Pretty good sounds, kind of like a 5 out of 10, just even, dead nut centered. Action. So you have these thumb studs that I don't really like because they're a little bit pokey, and the detent, because of the size of the blade, this is why I was like confused on detent, I think, from my memory and whatnot. You know what? Now I know what I was thinking. I was thinking about this fucking thing. This thing has no detent. Hate that knife. It's the last time you're going to see that thing. Anyway, that's what I was thinking of. Sorry. I got that like right after this. So the detent's good. It's just that it's a heavy ass blade. So you need it to be strong enough to flick it all the way out. And then that causes it to kind of hurt your thumb after a while. And my fingies hurt after a little bit. You can do a reverse flick, but same thing. It's chewing my finger up as it comes out just because of the sheer weight of this blade, right? So they did the detent right. It's just feels strong because of this heavy blade is basically what I'm getting at. Not my favorite knife ever. Transitions are pretty good. I can kind of feel the corner here, but, for not being Riot, it's damn near close. And for, I think it was like $250, I think it's really good. It's obviously a guillotine. I think I said that. On bearings, all the good stuff, right? Pretty cool, 20 CV. It's definitely a cool knife. If you're a big knife guy and you like thumb studs, this is a good one for you. That's the Shikari. Sorry, I always say that. Something in the... Nope, let's move on to this guy. This is the Serge Knife Co. EDC. Yep, that's right. We're just calling it the EDC. Well, that's what he's calling it, the EDC. This knife could be so awesome. Really is the way I'm looking at it. The way this knife is made, the detent, the action is so good that it makes me wish there was just some changes to this. So basically, aesthetically, I think it looks okay. I think it's pretty cool looking. The hole is a little too big visually for me, and this cutout's a little bit odd, but I think it looks good. I think it's way too chunky. It's got 4 slabs of titanium. You got a good clip on this guy. It's very simple if you think about it, this knife, right? You got a liner lock right there. It's made by Real Steel for Serge Knife Co. So aesthetically, it's pretty good. Ergonomically, very good. I mean, this fits my hand, large glove size hand, basically perfectly. It's just one neutral sort of curve. Clip is pretty neutral. It does have a poke there, but I don't feel it left-handed, right-handed. It's flat enough, no problem. Feels good in hand. I mean, I have enjoyed sort of this knife in some ways and just hated it in others, and that's why this is such a weird one for me. Sorry, I will move on. Ergos. Cutting. So you have this stupid N690 blade. I just don't get it. Why are you using N690? It's a $200 knife, by the way. I just don't get that. If this wasn't N690, I'd be much happier. I just tend to rust N690. It doesn't do anything better than really, I don't know. Like, why not use 14C or Nitro V? Nitro V is the one for me in this category of price. But for $200, this should be, I don't know, S35, M390, 20CV, something else. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my opinion on that. It's not the thinnest knife, but it's not super thick. The grind doesn't start till like here. So I'm guessing it's going to get rather thick, rather quick. How big of a deal is that to me? Not really. It's got a good edge on it. It cuts well. Got a good tip on it. Good for package opening, right? And cutting out shipping labels like I like to do. Ergos work really good for that as well. So, like, no real issues there. You know, it looks like it terminates pretty good. So I'm guessing sharpening guys wouldn't have an issue. I don't know. Yeah, so that's fine. Like I said, carry. The clip is good, but It's not deep carry, but it's deep enough for me. But it's just a heavy thing. This is the biggest problem with this knife is the price. The weight. Sorry. The weight for the size is just ridiculous. I mean, you consider it compared to, here's a Malibu. Okay, so this is 3 1/4, I guess. This is 3.3. So just so you know the size difference. But this thing weighs like 5.5, 6 ounces. It's just kind of dumb, in my opinion, to weigh that much for such a small knife. Some people may not care. Like, there's people out there that love the bronze version of this. And honestly, this feels lighter, but not a ton lighter. And this is a sub 3-inch knife. So I get it. There's, you know, there's the place for it and everything, but it's just not for me. So anyway, the weight just kind of kills the carry for me, right? Then you have, we talked ergos, cutting, sounds. Pretty good. I mean, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, pretty good. So action. The cutout right here is fantastic. Right-handed, excellent thumb flick. Really enjoyable to fidget with this knife and deploy this knife right here. You get great access to that lock bar. I mean, look at all that access right there. Boom, right? You're good to go. Then you have a reverse flick right-handed. You can get in there and get that slot or that hole, which the hole is a little big for my taste, but I've gotten used to it now. Like, in the beginning, I was putting my finger way through it and it would get caught. But now I just kind of like, you know, put the tip in, like, that's what she said, and then give it a flick. And that works pretty dang well. So left-handed, you get a nice reverse flick because you get good access. The thumb flick, you know, not really great left-handed. It's better when you don't have a Band-Aid. But it works, right? It's okay. You can't front flip that thing. I don't think, I never tried, but I'm not gonna. It's probably just gonna hurt is what's gonna happen. I like the inset lock. I just think it didn't need to be this thick, you know? So I think the Serge knife EDC is a cool knife. I think it's interesting. And, you know, that's why it's going to sell and probably be popular. And he'll probably do more models like it. If he did one with half the scales on it and better steel, I would pick one up for sure. But as soon as I saw N690 and $200, I was out. Immediately out. And then I saw the weight was like 5.62 and I was like, eh. But overall, I think it's a pretty cool knife. I get it. I think it's nice. I think Real Steel did a great job. I would trust them with the build, I think. So anyway, that's the Serge Panchenko EDC. So that's number 4 right there. Then we have, what else do we have? We have this knife right here. It's my good buddy Colin CM Knife Designs Kubey. I believe this is the KU332, if I'm not mistaken. This is the version that I would get because it's black blade with red scales. Not that I want the red, but I want that stonewash blade. It's not DLC, it's stonewash. So it's DLC and then stonewash. Because it's D2. And if you're going to give me D2, I don't want the bead blast. This is what they do on most of their models. Bead blasted D2, and it's like, why? It's just going to rust, right? So we have this one. And you know what? I really like this knife. This was loaned in by Backpack B. Shout out to Brent. This was loaned in by my buddy Matt. So thank you to Matt for loaning that in. But yeah, this one is awesome. It's just a little small for me, and that's the reason why I wouldn't get one. But if you have a smaller hand than a large, I think this is a good option for you. Colin really killed it. And Kubey nailed it as well with the detent. You have a great flipper tab right here. Bang. Aesthetically, sexy. Obviously, I think Colin has a nice design aesthetic because I've teamed up with him on our knife company, Devo Knives. So he literally is designing knives with me. So obviously I like his design. My favorite thing about this knife, that hole and that lanyard hole. Just the fact that he shrunk it down and made it the same just shows you his eye for design, in my opinion. He nailed it on this. It's like a $50 knife or something. Just killed it, right? So yeah, aesthetically, I really like it. Love the blade shape. Love the handle shape. Love that lanyard hole. Ergonomically, like I said, if it was just a little bit bigger or had like a choil or something, it would work for me better. But as is, it's just a little small. My pinky's kind of hanging off there. Some people won't care about that, even if they have larger hands. I can squeeze them on if I want to, but I don't know. I don't really want to. You can use this as a flipper choil as well. That helps. But, yeah, that's just why I prefer, if you look at the Royal, which is Colin's other Kubey design right here, I just prefer it, even though they're almost the same size. Obviously, it's a little bigger. This one has a front flipper instead of a back flipper, so you get that flat right here. And this just makes it so comfortable in hand, even though it does fit my hand fully back here as well. So this one just speaks to me a little bit more. Just about to try to flip her on that. But, you know, it is what it is. That flipper tab is fantastic. Like I said, detent, dialed perfectly. Light switch, push button, money, money, money. Then you have the reverse flick. So I guess we're getting into action here. Reverse flick is great. The closing action, pretty damn good on this. Not as good as the Royal, but I think that's because the detent's dialed up a little bit for the back flipper, which makes perfect sense. And it's definitely still good. Carry, usual, awesome, reversible, deep carry clip from Kubey, except they leave that little nubbin down there. They leave that part of the clip, and it always catches. It's one big complaint I have, along with the steel being D2. So, yeah, I really like this knife. I think it cuts really well. It's got that Kubey edge on it, which is really good. Nice saber grind. Starts pretty tall grind. Comes down to a relatively thin edge. It's not the thinnest behind the edge on this guy, but it's good. Good pinch grip. Great blade for shipping labels and packages. That's my thing, right? Works lefty, works righty. Just really, overall, it's fantastic. Great sounds. I mean, awesome knife, guys. Kubey KU332. And I got two more, guys. Sorry. Just going to let it rip today. I have the Highball from Kershaw, and I hate this knife. I just don't like it. It's too skinny. It just feels a little bit weird in my hand. Has a reversible clip that I put back because as a lefty, I need something to help me not put pressure on the lock bar, and that clip seems to help. When it was on the left side, it was hard for me to flick it. So it is better now, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little too skinny for me. It's not bad. It's a steel frame lock with a bead-blasted D2 blade. In-house design from Kershaw. I believe these were like $70 or something. Definitely, I think, a cool little EDC knife for somebody, right? I would totally recommend being right-handed with this one. It's just not a great option left-handed with that lock. But it works, but, like, just not a great option. I will say the detent on it is a bit lighter than I would want, but I think most people would probably be okay with the way it is. This one came in from Jared Neve, so thank you to Jared. This one came by way of Backpack B. Yeah, so, I mean, thin knife. Let's just talk about it. I think aesthetically it's sexy. I love the look of this knife. I love the gorgeous lines. That blade shape just, yeah. Really like the fuller. I love the blue accents. I hate this little thing right here. Just a weird kind of accent to it. And a deep carry clip just seems weird on this knife. To me, this is like a knife that they just wanted it to be budget. Like, it had to be budget. When I think if they had given this the ZT treatment, they still should, I think. If they did a ZT version of this, it would be pretty cool, I think. if you had like carbon fiber and shit, and 20 CV or S90V or something on the blade. I don't know. I think that would be really nice. But yeah, aesthetically, I like it. Like I said, ergonomically, it's just really thin. It's just too thin for my hand. And I'm surprised that my buddy Kyle, D2M Knives and Gear, loves this knife. This was like his budget knife of the year or something. Or one of his favorite budget knives this year. And I'm surprised because of how thin it is that it worked for him. But, I'm glad it did. Cutting-wise, it's okay. It's got a pretty good grind on it. Not sure if it has been resharpened. So, yeah, I was going to say, it just, when I cut with it, it felt kind of like it was a aftermarket edge. It cuts well, like I said. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not my favorite cutter, but it's good. And for labels and such, works great. Getting into packages and whatnot. There, see, I'm struggling left-handed. Yeah, definitely got a sticky edge on it, though. I didn't do much with these. I mean, I cut labels out. I cut some packages open when I had these in pocket, and that was really it. But that's kind of my experience with knives. So you obviously take that part of it with a grain of salt. All these knives that have been reviewed by Jared, you're going to get an extensive cutting preview. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I don't know where I was. Carry, it carries well because it has a good clip, deep carry, all that stuff. But it's sort of heavy for its size, right? Like, it's not a big knife. But it's not a small knife. It's kind of like in the middle, right? It's like 3.25 or whatever. But look how thin it is. But the fact that it's stainless steel frame lock makes it kind of heavy for that. And I hate when a knife is like thin like this and heavy. It just feels weird. So there's that. Sounds. I think the detent is really the issue there. It's just not giving it enough oomph on the deployment and the close. So can't even. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Let me try it right here. There, that's the loudest I can get it. Just not great. Action. That's what I was talking about. The detent's just kind of light, but it is kind of fun. You get a good reverse flick right-handed, left-handed if you can get it. It flicks out pretty well. You can do a thumb flick. You can do a slow roll, obviously. So not the worst, and it's very smooth. And it drops to your nail like that. It's not a drop shut or anything, but very smooth. It's good action. Good action. Just wish the detent was a little bit stronger and it would be better. I don't know. This one's not worth the money to me. I like the design. I just don't like the knife and the execution. And that makes sense because it's Kershaw. I haven't really had anything from them in a long time. This was the first knife this year I handled from them. And now I know why. They're not up to snuff anymore, I don't think. I don't know if they ever were, and I just didn't realize, I kind of have learned maybe. But I'd love to see them come out with some cool stuff that I like. So hopefully that changes next year. Really waiting for Kershaw ZT to get back on track. That would be great. But that's the Highball. And we have one more from Jared Neve. This one is the Kubey KU331. All right, this is the one he wanted dyed. This one, guys, I got to say, I did not do too much with this other than talk shit on it. Not my favorite Kubey. I carried it, twice, I think. Got that same Kubey clip, not recessed or anything. And my main issue is the detent is kind of strong. I mean, I had times where it was literally like too strong for me. It's better now. I think I flicked the crap out of it one night and it may have lightened that detent a little bit, but it's kind of weird to have a front flipper with a stiff detent. But it works. It's just ugly. It's one of those designs where I'm just like, eh. They just made a knife, put a hole in it, and they were like, yeah, they're like, people are buying these knives with the holes. Colin's doing a great job with these cool designs with the holes, so why don't we do that? And we'll just have, you know, we'll throw a hole on something, you know, and it works, you know, it's fine. I'm sure a lot of people probably like this one. To me, it doesn't work. I don't like this area back here trying to be all like a strider and shit, which if you check my videos, you'll know I don't like that anyway. Friday night gas station fight, ergos right here. So aesthetically, not my thing. JG10 is the nastiest thing on the planet. And if you couple that with D2, I literally want to just vomit in your face. Because that's what you're doing to me. You're literally just regurgitating fucking shit when you put JG10 and D2 on a knife. That's how I feel about it. Fight me, right? And if you want to fight me, I got this knife with the... I'm just kidding. Anyway, aesthetically, not my thing. Ergonomically, you know, I got enough room here. It feels pretty good. Jimping's pretty good. Definitely solid. It's not a choil. I mean, you could use it as a choil, but it's not a choil. Pretty good in a pinch grip. I can get down, get my labels out or whatever. I think I cut opened 2 packages and cut out 2 labels with this thing just to try it. Because I gotta try every night if I'm going to call it a review, even a rapid review, right? But again, cutting wise, Jared will be your guy on that. If you want to know, feels like a factory edge. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can see I got some residue there from something, Amazon or whatever tape. Ergos we talked about. Carry, same Kubey clip. It is what it is, guys. Just, you know, it's going to be fine. You know that. But you got to shove it past that thingy. Sounds. Yeah, it's pretty good on sounds. Pretty much standard for the course here with a Kubey or a budget liner lock, right? Action. You know, again, that D10's too strong, but it's on the cusp of being good. So, if it was just slightly lighter, it'd be good. But, do I prefer this D10? Yes, this D10 is dialed just perfectly. You see there, when it breaks, it's enough to fly out and lock up with a good thud. But it's not hard. I can just use the tip of my finger. I can just use the tip of my finger to fly it out. This one, it's it's just a little strong. Again, it has broken in since I've gotten it, I think. So it feels much better now. I mean, we can see what Jared says when he gets it back. Maybe he remembers it feeling just like this. But I think it was a lot stiffer when I got it, to be honest. Yeah. So... not my favorite Kubey ever. Not a big fan, but it is what it is. That's the KU331. You could probably get that one at White Mountain Knives. You can get this one at White Mountain Knives right now. Use my code Lefty10 at checkout. They also had the where did I put that highball? Oh, they also had the highball at White Mountain Knives. Put the Royal away. That one wasn't in here. We had the Tucson TS223 and my favorite Tucson of all time, the Tucson TS240. Then we also had the Serge Panchenko EDC and the Concept Shikari. Sorry. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 knives. We just did a rapid review on 7 knives, guys. Crazy. Let me know what you think of these knives. Do you think I'm crazy? Don't like that one very much, but I like the action. Don't like that one at all. Don't like that one at all. Don't like that one at all. Love. So, hey man, we're 3 for 4 on the love side of things, and maybe 2 of the 4 I'm and then 2 I'm blah. So, it is what it is. Out of all of these, which one would I take? It would probably be this guy right here. I just really love this thing. I really like this thing. I would probably take this, and then I would take Collins knife right here just because it's got really good fidgetability, good cutting. It's a little small for my hand, but, whatever. I would take that one, and then lastly, I would take this Monarch right here. Try to pimp that action out a little bit. You can tell this is an older Tucson, but it's still really good. So, anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much to everybody. Jared Neve, Backpack B, Brent, sorry, Matt, who loaned in a knife. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.